Hello, everyone. Nice to see you out there. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's good to have you back. It's good to be back. Took some time, but today I'm opening a new topic up. And today's topic is I'm a PBS kid. Yes, I am a PBS kid and I'm proud of it. I'm very proud of it. And I'll explain why. Because what does it even mean to be a PBS kid? And what does PBS even mean? Pretty much, PBS, Public Broadcasting Service. And if you're like me, you grew up on it. I'm born in '98. So if you're a '90s kid, born in the 90s or even early 2000s, you're quite familiar with the PBS Kids logo, channel, the whole nine. I mean, how could you not? Shows like Arthur, Cyber Chase, Reading Rainbow. I even dare to say that I remember watching reruns of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. But plenty more shows like Between the Lions, Clifford the Big Red Dog, Fetch, Word Girl. But all these things, right? All these beautiful shows. These were for people like me, people like you, who may not have had cable. PBS was essentially your lifeline, but also a good essential factor into what your childhood was. Not only was it just very creative and fun educational programming shows, these were much more than shows. These were your classroom for today. These were learning outside of the classroom, outside of school. Get you excited about learning. But most importantly, for most of these shows, these were shows where you can see yourself. These were essentially shows for me where I found where my heroes lied. And I'll go further into that. So people like LeVar, Burton, and Mr. Rogers were two of my heroes growing up as a PBS kid. People like LeVar Burton, who essentially looked just like me, a young black man who was passionate about literature, that got me passionate about reading books, passionate about literature, passionate about writing, creating poems, and just learning. And just having somebody that gave me a sense of representation as a young African American male learning about myself, got me into learning so much about books that I became so excited, and I'm just thankful for that. And another person that comes to mind is Mr. Rogers. Fred Rogers was somebody who, to me, provided a safe space for emotions to lie, And these emotions were very needed in a time where, even now, we're told to have a hardened heart about some things. He was very empathetic and he allowed you to just be. Having songs like I Like You Just the Way You Are. To be able to feel seen, to feel heard, to feel like somebody sees you. Even if it's through the medium of media, he did it in such a way, and his passion and care about educational programming and the children that they were serving and giving these messages to. Even so much as showing empathy by a simple question, won't you be my neighbor? That space that you have, to have that, it's rare. And shows like that, like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, were not just shows that allowed you to have that sense of emotional intelligence. Daring shows. It was a show of revolutionary. This was a show that confronted many social and economic problems, social issues, to children, and transcribing it in a way that you can take it in as a kid and be able to process it, understand it, and it's safe. I feel like that's what's made it a safe space. But within saying that, these shows that we talk about, that I talk about, I could go through the list of shows. I mean, I was a PBS kid to the T. Like, you know, of course you had your Nickelodeon and you had your Cartoon Network and your Disney Channel, and that's fine after school's over and after 5 o'clock. I mean, of course, I love Teen Nick like the rest, but really, these shows with PBS weren't just nostalgia either. These shows shaped the core core and foundation of a lot of our childhoods. I mean, not only just me as, you know, late 90s kid or the early 2000s, this spans back. I mean, Mr. Rogers was on TV for 50 to 60 plus years, you know? I feel like it's essential to the fabric of who we are. Emotional intelligence, like I mentioned before, but also space to where it's needed to help us navigate, right? But what changed within that? What changed? I'll tell you exactly what changed. Streaming. As technology evolved, so did many facets of our media. We went from sitting right here in front of the TV, of course, to as we watched the same shows and sat together and learned the same things, indoctrinated the same stuff into our lives, hopefully, and had the same discussions with each other and bonded, and however you spent your time in front of the TV, to now it being right there, right within the palm of your hands, right within your reach, within your grasp, on the go media. As technology advances, and it just made things streaming. It made things very accessible. And at first it poses a very great good. But as things go on, you would see very facets of streaming turn very subscription based. And because of subscription based, I remember seeing in 2019 Sesame Street being moved over to HBO. And I remember everybody being very happy about it, but a lot of people were not too happy about that. Because this was shows that were meant for, shows had viewers that were from lower communities or subsidiary people that could not afford proper schooling or education or those services that you get from watching Sesame Street or shows like Sesame Street to provide a sense of free learning, excitement about learning. And of course, HBO isn't cheap. HBO Max is essentially now, without ads, I believe it's like ranges between $15 to $17. But I say all that to say, public broadcasting end up being behind while Netflix and other billion-dollar entities were pushed to the forefront. And that's not bad. It's not bad at all. But when you have places like public broadcasting that's not backed by those same dollars, yes, they did try to adjust. They adjusted. They created applications. There's applications now on Tubi that where you can watch PBS now. But you can only go so far. And I feel like this is very important because for anybody that, again, was born in the 90s and 2000s, you're familiar with this catchphrase. From viewers like you. Thank you. But what did that mean? What did viewers like you mean? Who was viewers like you? Like you. Viewers like you was essentially how shows like Arthur, like Between the Lions, like Dragon Tales, Clifford, Cyber Chase, how shows like that were created. Viewers like you meant that when you paid those tax dollars, a small percentage of those tax dollars went back into your local broadcasting stations as to how these shows are created. So essentially, viewers like you, because you bought in to the shows that created the minds that were allowed to think, imagine, create, and lead. The leaders of today were built off of the backbone of public broadcasting that created viewers like them and viewers like you. So when we say viewers like you, it's because viewers like you, they're allowed to create essentially a cultural shift to where we are allowed to dream again, to be again, to feel again. So because viewers like you, that allow all the goodness of what PBS was and is, and then what's needed as a necessity, I say thank you. So it does not end, but there has been discussion had, and unfortunately, as of late, public broadcasting has lost its federal funding. Now, it does not mean the end, but it makes those shows that we create, it makes viewers like you at the forefront now. Because without that funding, many of local public broadcasting television stations don't have the funding to create the shows that we know that we hold dear. But this is where we step in. And this is where I stepped in. For those who know me, I grew up in the foster care system. I grew up in the foster care system for a majority of my life, from 2 to 5. And again, from 7, and I aged out at 21 years old. And one of the key things I kept with me, and that was very important to me throughout my childhood, not having a mom, or not having a dad, and not having family, but one thing I had with me was public broadcasting. Teaching me no matter what hardship I had, I still had that with me. The memories of that, being able to still be excited to learn, no matter if my world was crashing down because of my problems or because of what I was going through. I still was able to be empathetic, to have empathy within me, to have sympathy, to learn, to grow, to have excitement again. All those beautiful and rich things that I got from these shows because of public broadcasting was able to provide to me, for you, for viewers like me and you. it became such a beautiful thing that I cannot ever think about a time where I can't contribute to being what Mr. Rogers and LeVar Burton was to me. So this is why Outreach with Reggie was created. Because of a Mr. Rogers neighborhood, a Reading Rainbow, because of a Wild Kratts, and other shows of that same love, that I created this. Because to the next generation that's after me, or after the 2000s kids that need that sense, or is searching for that sense of belonging, it's very appropriate and needed for us to carry that same light. So within Outreach with Reggie, I hope to do that. I hope to do what Mr. Rogers was able to do for me, and many others of that, and be a safe space, be an open and welcoming space, welcome you into my space through media, and to confront topics, both socially not only what I do within advocacy, but what I aim to do within confronting the topics at hand. And will I be perfect? Absolutely not. But I will, within my attempt, I hope to do good. And if I don't get it that day, I'll get it the next day. And if I, hopefully by now, for those who choose to stay and come on this journey with me, I hope to at least do justice and do right. So this has been an episode of Outreach with Reggie. And from me to you, from viewers like you, for viewers like you, I say take care and thank you.